Hi everyone, welcome to part 1 of GitHub Workflow for Performance Tester series. This is a two-part series. In this video, I'm going to guide you through the initial steps of using GitHub for performance testing projects. GitHub provides a powerful version control system that allows the teams to collaborate effectively, keep track of changes, and streamline the management of test scripts. As a performance tester, managing your test scripts properly is essential. GitHub helps maintain a history of changes that allows collaboration with developers and other testers and ensures that you are always working with the most updated scripts. So let's dive into setting up GitHub and start working with repositories. In this part 1, I'm going to cover repository setup, feature branch management. So as a part of initial step, we are going to create a GitHub account and we are going to setting up a repository here. So once after setting up the repository in GitHub, we are going to clone that repository to our local machine. Once after cloning that to our local machine, I'm going to create the feature branches to our performance test scripts. Before we dive into any Git commands, the first thing you need is a GitHub account. GitHub is where you'll host your repositories and collaborate with your team. Let's quickly jump into the browser to create the GitHub account. If you go to Google and if you type GitHub, you'll see this website called https://github.com. So this is the website where you can create your GitHub account. Just click on this first link so that it will take you to the home page of the GitHub. And on the top right corner of this particular site, you'll see the option called sign up button. Just click on that sign up button so that it will ask you to provide the email ID, password, as well as the username. So just provide the mail ID here. I'm providing my mail ID, performance testing mentor @gmail.com. And we need to provide the password, and they clearly mentioned the specification also. So let me provide a password here, proper password. And let me give the username also. Let me give the username as perf test mentor, right? And let me click on continue. Once if you click on continue, it will ask you to verify a puzzle in order to verify whether you are a human or not. So just click on this visual puzzle, and it is asking us to draw the arrow marks, right? So just make sure to solve this puzzle and let's submit it. So once if you submit that puzzle, right, it will send one particular OTP to your mail ID. So just go and visit your mail ID and try to get that OTP here. Let me open my mail ID here. After entering the OTP, it is going to give a message called your account was created successfully and please sign in to continue. Just provide the email ID, username as well as the password here. So let me give the perf test mentor as the username and let me give the password and try to log in here. So once if you log in, right, you can see this home page here. Now that you have a GitHub account, let's create a repository for your performance testing project. In order to create the repository, click on the plus icon, which is showing on the top right corner, and then click on the new repository. Or you can simply use this create repository option on the left hand side. So let's quickly go and create the new repository here. Once after clicking on the new repository, you will redirect to this particular page wherein you need to provide your repository name. So for now, I'm providing the repository name as performance testing project. And if you want to write any description related to that particular repository, you can mention that description under this description text box. And also you need to select how you want to keep this repository, whether you want to keep this repository as public or private. So as it is a practice purpose, I'll go with public. And also we need to make sure that we are going to add this readme file. And if you want, you can add this .git ignore file also, if at all if it is needed, folder also, if at all if it is needed. But for now, I'm just ignoring it and I'm just clicking on create repository. Once if you click on create repository, your repository is going to be created and you're going to see your repository in this way. Now that you have your GitHub repository, you'll need to set up Git on your local machine. If you don't have Git installed yet, then simply open a new tab, go to this site https://gitscm.com, and here you can download the latest version of Git by selecting this option download for Windows. Once if you click download for Windows, it will take you to this particular page from where you can download the latest version of Git based on your operating system. So I'm using like 64-bit operating system. So I'm going to download the 64-bit version here by clicking on this link. Once if you click on this link, it is going to download the GitHub version over here, and it is of 66 MB size. Installation process here is so simple. Just select the file, right click on that and run as an administrator, and allow the administrator access here for the installation process. And then it is going to give you this pop-up. Here just click on next and next, and just keep everything as default over here. Just click on next and again next over here, and don't change anything here. Just click on next, and here you can select the option like let Git decide this process. So just keep that same option. Just click on next, and here also by default the recommended option got selected. You can select you can keep the same and just click on next here, and just click on next, next, and next. So once if you click on install, then automatically the installation process will start, and you can see that process here. Once the installation is done, then the Git is going to be installed on your machine. So installation process is almost all done here. So let's wait for a few seconds to get it completed. Once the installation process is completed, you will see this pop-up. Here, uncheck this particular view results tree nodes. So we don't need this. So just click on finish. In order to verify whether Git is installed on your machine or not, just go to type here to search, type cmd over here and open the command prompt. Once the command prompt got opened, just enter the command called git and press enter. If you are seeing this particular text over here, then I can say like Git is installed successfully on my machine. In order to see the version of Git, just type the command called git space hyphen hyphen version. Once if you press enter, it is going to show which Git version you have installed on your machine. And in this particular session, I'm not going to use the command prompt, whereas I'm going to use the git bash. So let's verify whether git bash got installed on our machine or not. In order to verify that, just go to type here to search and just enter git bash over here. If I type git bash, I can see git bash available on my machine, and just click as run as administrator so that the git bash will open here. With this account creation in GitHub, creating a repository and installing Git on your local machine is completed. Generally, this is going to be done by a DevOps team in your company. So once after creating the repository, this DevOps team is going to provide that link, repository link to your team manager. So manager generally is going to share that link to the team lead. And initially, as the repo is completely empty, team lead is going to add required files into that particular repo. Let's see how the team lead is going to add the required files into the repo by using some Git commands. As a first step, your team lead is going to clone the repository. But before going to clone the repository, he is going to create one folder on his machine, like how I created a folder called Git on my local machine. And then he is going to open that folder and he's going to right click on that folder and he's going to use this option called Open Git Bash here. Once if you select this option, your Git Bash will open so that you can simply clone the repository with the help of this Git Bash. So in order to clone the repository, we need to use a command called git clone, as well as in continuation with that, like we need to pass the repository URL. So how to get the repository URL is nothing but here we need to go to the browser where our GitHub is open and we need to click on this code icon, and here you will see the URL of that particular repo. So just copy the URL from here and go to this particular git bash again and paste that URL. Once if you hit enter, your cloning process is going to begin. But let's try to understand what this particular git clone command is going to do. So git clone command is going to simply create a local copy of your remote GitHub repository on your machine. After cloning this particular repository, you'll have all the files and folders structure from the GitHub on your local machine. But for now, as this is a new repo, we are not going to have any files or folders except the README file. So let's quickly click on enter. Once if you click on enter, you will see like cloning into performance testing projects, and the cloning is completed here. And now if I go to the folder, see, I'm able to see that my repo got downloaded here. Once after the cloning process is completed, just close this git bash here and then open the folder called performance testing projects, which you cloned from GitHub repository. If you open the folder, as I mentioned, you're going to see only the README file over here, and we don't have any other files specified here. So now as a team lead, right, your intention is to add 3 different JMeter scripts over here, and you want to assign those, you want to ask your team members to work on those 3 different scripts so that like that work is going to be completed. So let's try to understand how your team lead is going to upload those 3 scripts over here and how that is going to be pushed to the GitHub repository. Now we are in repository folder, and now I want to add few files to this particular folder. In order to add few files to this folder, what I need to do is I need to open the git bash over here. So let me quickly right click here and choose the option open git bash here. Once the git bash got opened, right, as a next step, I'm going to increase the size of this particular font so that you guys can see clearly. So let me increase it. So I hope the size is good right now. So the next command that I'm going to use here is git status. So what this git status command is going to do is it is going to simply show the current state of the working directory. So it tells you whether there are any new files that are added or modified or deleted over here in this repository. So just quickly see what this command is going to give you. Once after hitting this particular command, you are going to see that you are there on the main branch of this repo, and your main branch is up to date. So there are no updates here. So once after verifying that there are no updates, as a next step, we need to add our JMeter scripts to this particular folder. So in order to add the JMeter scripts to the particular folder, so I have three JMeter scripts in another folder called JMeter scripts. And if I open, I can see like three JMeter scripts over here. So I just want to add this entire folder called JMeter scripts, which includes the three different files over there. So let me right click and copy this particular folder and go to my repo folder here and paste that particular folder over here under the repository folder. So now I added few files over here which is related to JMeter scripts. So now let's go to the git bash and let's use the same command called git status over here. Just press top arrow in the keyboard. It will give you the old commands whatever that you have entered. So I'm just entering the same command git status over here. So previously, like, there are no changes in the main branch, but now we added few files over here. So that is the reason why the status should be changed. So let's see what exactly the status is going to be right now. So if you see, right, so the status got changed and we have some untracked files over here. So that is your JMeter scripts folder. As a next step, I need to add these untracked files to the staging area. In order to do that, I need to use a command called git add dot. What this git add command is going to do is it is going to add all the new features or the new or modified files to the staging area, preparing them for commit. So just click enter over here and you can see like some warning messages. So just ignore this warning messages, and now our untracked files are in staging area right now. Now if you type like git status again to verify the status here, you can see the files are in green color right now. Previously those are untracked files, but now it is in the changes to be committed state. So that is the reason why it is showing in green color here. In order to commit the changes to the repository, as a next step, we need to use a command called git commit. What this git commit command will do is it is going to save all your changes locally, but we need to pass some proper commit message over here so that your team need to understand. So for that purpose, we need to add a flag called -m over here. This flag will allows you to add a commit message, and after the flag you need to give the commit message here. So for now I am giving the commit message as added JMeter scripts, so which should be understandable. And once after giving the commit message, then just press. Here you are seeing the author identity unknown issue. So in order to overcome this particular issue, right, in order to set your account's default identity, you need to use these commands. So the command that we need to use here is git config --global user dot email, and we need to provide the email ID with which we registered to the GitHub. So let me provide the email ID performance testing mentor @gmail.com and then press enter here. And also we need to use one more command, git config --global, and you need to provide the username also. So let me provide the username as perf test mentor. This is my username. Let me provide the username also. So once after giving this identity information, then again you need to run the commit message as the commit is not happened previously. So let's quickly go and give the commit message again as git commit -m and I'm going to give the commit message as uh, added jmeter scripts. So once after entering the commit message, you can see like 3 files changed here. So that means your commit has happened successfully. Now your data is saved locally, guys. So as a next step, we need to simply push those changes to GitHub. So in order to push those changes to GitHub, we need to use a command called git push. Just type the command git push over here and just click enter. So what this command will do is it is going to upload your local commits to GitHub so everyone on the team can see them. So once after typing the git push, you need to add again to which particular branch you are going to push. So in order to do that, you need to give some repository name, okay, to the branch name. Okay, so just give the branch name as like origin main. So your branch name is main, and you are going to use a uh, keyword called origin here, which refers to the remote GitHub repository. So just give this command git push origin main and then press enter. Once if you press enter, automatically the push will happen here to your GitHub repository. And whenever if it is asking like sign in with your browser, okay, just give that like sign in with your browser option and just try to sign in over here so that you can do that git push properly. Once after clicking on the sign in with browser, it will take me to this particular page. Here I need to click on authorize git ecosystem. So once if you click on authorize git ecosystem, it is going to ask you to provide the password, and let me give the password over here and let me confirm it over here. So once after confirming here, now we are good, and let's go here and verify. See here, now my git push is completed here. Okay, so writing objects, it is showing it as 100%. Now it is completed. So now let's quickly go to the GitHub repository and simply do the refresh over here. But before doing the refresh, just see like before the commit, the push has happened, right? So we are having only one file. But now after the push, you can see that particular JMeter scripts folder here. Once if you open this JMeter scripts folder, you can see all the 3 JMeter files which you are planning to assign to your team. Let's quickly recap what we have covered in this particular part. So in this part, we started with creating the GitHub account, and we created the new repository. And once after completing that, we downloaded the Git to our local machine and we installed the Git. And once after installing the git, like we started cloning the repository, and once the repository got cloned, immediately we verified the repository status, and after that we added few files to the repository, and finally we have done the commit of those particular changes whatever that we did, and finally we pushed the changes to the GitHub. So in next part, that is part two, we'll cover how your performance team is going to pull that particular repository and create a feature branch. And after creating the feature branch, how they are going to do different changes in that particular script. And then how they are going to push those changes to the feature branch, and how they are going to merge that feature branch with the uh, main branch, and then how they are going to create the pull request, and how your team lead is going to review that particular pull request, and how he's going to approve that particular pull request. Thank you. If you feel like this video is helpful for you, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel.